lovelies. My name is Laura, and welcome to the channel where it's all about helping women obtain the life they want by finding Mr. Right. Today, we are talking about the 5 major green flags to look for in a guy to find out if he's a masculine man. It's a sneak peek on what we'll cover is the difference between passive feminine men and masculine men. 5 major green flags to look out for in a masculine man. And lastly, I can share more about how to attract a masculine man. If you already have one that you've got your eye on, perfect, even better. But the reason why I really wanted to talk about this topic is, aside from it being my favorite topic in the world, is that I believe that there's been a phenomenon that's been really impacting the dating scene. I call it the passive feminine male phenomenon. I'm only referring to straight males here, where men are carrying more and more feminine traits to the point where it's really causing a lot of frustration in the dating scene. Yes, granted, all of us have feminine and masculine traits, but it is getting a little bit out of hand where the scales are tipping too much one way. Where now we have a society where more and more males find splitting the bill after a date appealing. They don't open doors for women anymore because we've got our own hands to do so. They don't make the first move anymore because why can't a woman do the same thing for a man? They delay popping the question longer and longer. They're undecisive. First of all, there is nothing wrong with that if you want a man with passive feminine behaviors. However, most of you who clicked on the video, I'm assuming are more like myself, who are attracted to a man who with more masculine behaviors, who wants to give us the princess treatment, who wants us to give us the family, wants us to put a ring on it. And let me just clear the air and set the expectations on the perspective before we go in. Just because someone doesn't meet your standards doesn't mean you should lower them. I want to say that one more time for the girlies who need to hear it, because my younger self definitely needed to hear that. Just because someone doesn't meet your standards doesn't mean that you should lower them. There are plenty of men who would love to court you, who would love to chase you, pick up every bill, open every door, and do whatever it takes to make sure you feel safe and provided for. From my experience, when a man is so much more masculine than you are, these things don't even become a problem for him. It causes him little to no duress to do that whatsoever because he's so capable. Masculine energy exudes out of men like them. They are strong, they are stable. We feel safe in their presence. They take care of everything. They pay for everything. Baby, there's nothing to worry about. Go be your best self. These are the men I'm talking about. And today, I'd love to share with you how we can spot them. First thing you need to know to be able to do that is to know the difference between passive feminine men and a masculine man. So the traits of a passive feminine man, men who are in their wounded masculine, they might not have had a strong a strong male figure growing up, or had not really any sort of like strong male characters in their life. They tend to prefer to complain about things rather than solving problems. They've got low self-esteem. They're prone to avoiding most hard or important conversations. They fear to commit to things in their life. They often lie, they often blame other people, they are often aggressive, they are dismissive of other people's feelings. How these things basically show up on the day-to-day is that they usually prefer to complain about things rather than getting better at them. They often blame others or everything for where they are in life, why they're not happier, why they're not more successful, why they're not fitter. They wait for us women to make the first move. They struggle to make plans. Where to eat, what to do over the weekend, are we going there, are we not going there, what are our future plans, and they usually are quite afraid of your emotions, and they get quite defensive and aggressive when you do share your feelings with them, being avoidant, manipulative, aggressive. These are just other toxic traits that passive feminine men tend to have. Whereas masculine men are men who are usually in their healthy masculine. Maybe they had a strong father figure growing up, maybe they didn't, but they probably had other stable and strong male influences in their life, like coach, mentors, strong group of male friends. They have generally a strong work ethic. And they show up day in, day out to advance in their careers. They are respectful. They rarely complain or they gossip. They are happy to make decisions, plan dates, book trips, talk about future plans. When you express your emotion, they are okay to hold space for you and to hug you. They want to do everything and anything they can to provide and protect you, and they would never ever harm you. They are understanding, they're patient, encouraging for you to be your best self, and you feel safe around them. I mean, no one is perfect, but when you think of a man as a whole, like, do they tend to lean towards the passive feminine traits, or are they usually leaning towards the masculine traits? That's how we can separate the two. The great thing is that there are so many healthy masculine men out there. However, because it comes so naturally to them, they might not even know how valuable they are. And this is when we women need to use our emotional intelligence to find these diamonds in the rough. How do we spot them? I've got in point number 2 here, the 5 green flags to look for when looking for a masculine man. So the 5 that I've written down are that he's honest, he keeps his promises, he has a strong work ethic, he works out and takes care of his body, and 5, he protects and provides for his family, especially the women in his family. Let me know in the comments below, are these the green flags that you look for as well? Or are yours very different from mine? Why are these the 5 major green flags that I've chosen when looking for a masculine man? Let me share with you. So, honesty. Imagine a man who you can always trust, will give you his honest opinion. He is not manipulative, so you can always count on him to tell you what's up. Someone who you can trust to be honest about where he is, who he's with, who is honest enough to tell his actual feelings for you, is honest to tell you about how he sees your future together, keeps his promise. Imagine a man who keeps his word on what time he'll come home. Imagine when he says he'll do it on Friday, he'll do it on Friday. When he says he'll pick the lemons up after work, he picks up the lemons. Right? When he says he'll tell you the truth, he always tells you. His actions are congruent with what he says. Like, I have definitely tried that with Pat before, where I didn't go into this relationship trusting, but he earned my trust because every time he told me something, he did those actions. His actions were congruent with what he said, and now I have trust in him. When he says he'll never hurt you, he's always there to protect you, to support you, and to show you that he's always there for you. Next one, a strong work ethic. Imagine a man who you can trust is out there doing the absolute best to ascend in their career so he can provide for you and your future family. Someone who others people look up to and respect. Someone who can show determination, consistency to show up at everything, to show up at something, at things, just basically things in general. When things are hard, they show up. You can count on them to keep showing up every day for the main things in their life. The 4th one is works out and takes care of his body. This one's quite simple. He's hot. Imagine someone respects their body who will respect yours too. You know, someone who is disciplined, someone who takes care of themselves, who comes home with the water filters, the fresh food, the health supplements, and buys you collagen because he knows that's good for your well-being and your beauty. And the last one, protects and provides for his family, especially for the women. Imagine a man who can respect a woman's wishes, who is used to helping around the house, someone who understands that women have emotions and that we're not always logical, and that's okay. You know, someone who is used to being relied on and being responsible to support the females in his life, because if he can do that for them, he's more than likely going to be doing that for you too by nature. I'd love to know in the comments, do you know a man like that in your life? I am a big advocate of dating someone for who they already are, not the person we think that they could be. I used to have a savior complex where I thought that if a man loved me enough, I could be the one to change this man. I could be the one to tame the stallion. However, myself included, I have never ever heard of a story where that actually ever worked out. Because if you are right now already enough for me, if you're already enough for me right now, then chances that our relationship is going to be built out of appreciation and more happiness. Because if you keep being the man that you are today, I'm already perfectly happy, you know. And with those traits that we talked about just now, with the respect, with the attraction, with the love, with the trust, there is no way that you two are not going to together grow into a better and stronger versions of yourself. So notice I never mentioned anything about having blonde hair, what type of career he's in, works in finance, has abs, likes outdoor activities. I'll tell you a story about how a dad was teaching his daughter about life. So he had this glass jar, and he had a couple of big rocks, and he had some sand. So he was telling telling her, darling, I want to explain life to you, right? So the big rocks are like your main priorities in life, like your happiness, your health, family, relationships, and the sand is like all the other things, all the small stuff. So, and the glass jar is just like your capacity to take on things, your time, your effort, basically how much you can do in life in a day. So first he puts in the sand, and then he tries to put in the rocks. Not all of the rocks fit. So he was saying, darling, this is just like life. If you prioritize all the small things in your life, then it is very difficult to also fit in the main priorities, and chances are you won't be able to fit all of them in. He takes everything out again. This time he puts in the big rocks first, and then he puts in the sand, but everything fits this time. So what he was trying to explain was, darling, now that you see, if you put your main priorities in life in here first, all the other small things will work themselves out. Chances are I believe though, chances are is that if he's got all these 5 main green flags in already, all the other things like the blonde hair, works in finance, has the abs, likes outdoor activities, all those things will then fall into place. However, if we put the sand in first, if he has blonde hair, works in finance, has abs, likes outdoor activities, but then he can't be trusted and he's always hungover over the weekends, he ghosts you and keeps your relationship vague, what use is that to us when we are looking for a man who can help us attain the life we truly want? Get what I mean? So I guess, what I'm trying to share is that, yes, even though they're the big rocks at the green flags, not all relationships are black and white. We're human beings after all. And a type of man with the major green flags might not show up as the James Bond, Chris Hemsworth image that you and I have in our heads to begin with. A lot of them don't look like that yet, because they're work in progress, and so are we, and that's okay. So they don't have to be the complete versions of themselves for you guys to start dating, and neither do you. But they have to have good bonds to begin with. So look for the big rocks first. Look for the big rocks first. Relationships are about growing together anyway, right? So story time. When Pat and I met, I didn't have anywhere close to the feminine maturity that I have now. And I'm far from done growing. And Pat wasn't the degree of masculine that he is today either. So, however, he had really good, strong bones of the foundation to become the strong masculine man that I wanted. And I wasn't thinking this at the time, but when we met, he ticked all the 5 major green flags to begin with. Granted, he was a little shy taking the first step with me, but with a little bit of encouragement, he very quickly stepped out of his shell to fight and protect, because that was his core character the entire time. Diamonds in the rough, remember? The way that translates into reality, like all the examples I shared before, he's honest with me. He comes home when he says he will. The most loyal man I have ever met. He works hard to provide for us. He's in great shape. He's got high standards with himself. He buys me collagen. When I have any needs, he loves solving them by providing and caring for me, just to make sure that I'm happy, because he's already so used to doing that for his mom and his sister, right? So at the end of the day, hats off to Pat for being amazing, but there are so many men like Pat out there. Remember, ladies, your power is your birthright emotional intelligence and feminine power. With a little bit of help, these men can become the true masculine men that you've always wanted, who will seek to provide and protect and to strive to give you the life that you've always wanted, just because they just want to see you happy. So my lovelies, these are the 5 major green flags to look for in a guy. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up so I know to make more content like this. If you've liked the video, then I'm sure you're on your edge of your seat asking, Laura, how do I find and how do I attract such a man? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Go check out the next video, how to attract a masculine man, and see you lovelies there.